the virtualizations. We discuss about virtualizations, cloud virtualizations, and we also talk about VMware. I also email you homework, and I'm hoping you did it. If not, you can do it this weekend. This will help you. This virtualizations which we use in a computer is kind of going away. People don't like that. They just do it for hobby project or POC. But cloud virtualization is booming. Whenever somebody say I'm using Azure or AWS or Google, they are using virtualization. But rather than using in company, they're using a cloud. Rather than using all companies are doing the virtualizations themselves, now they're renting or they are leasing virtualization space in cloud. So when somebody say cloud service provider, majority cloud service providers are actually providing infrastructure. And that infrastructure is mostly controlled and orchestrated by virtualization. So this is what we covered last week. Any questions so far? Good. Then second thing we cover is, hey, I want to create one instance in AWS. So we created instance, and that instance was Linux instance, and that we want to do work on. Today we will do the work. Now, are you guys using Putty at your work or no?
Yeah. Very less actually. Yeah.
I'll show you, no worries. Because we should know Putty, so we'll cover the Putty. So today, let's set the goal today. So let me start with this thing. Let me minimize this camera part. Let me
should we connect to our instance also?
1 second, I'll answer. Yeah, we will do. Surya. So let's set the goal. So agenda for today, right? So first agenda is we want to restart our AWS. Restart our AWS instance, right? We stopped it last time, if you remember. So we stop it. Now we will start it. Right? Then, if you remember, we have created a key, right? We created a key. So we created a key, right? That key we will use in Putty. Now, what happened? Putty is a SSH client, and it's one of the easy software, and it's very powerful. So we'll be using that. And using Putty, we will normally use terminal. So, and through terminal, we will learn Linux command. So today, my goal is to actually cover a lot of Linux command. I want to make sure you are comfortable, because anyone who is going for cloud, Docker, with any cloud related activity, like example, even you are going for QA or developer in cloud, you must know Linux. Why? Because Git is one of the most easy software, right? Git you will be using in cloud. Log analysis. Mostly people will be using cloud. Application status check, right? Mostly you are going to use Linux. Sometimes you want to do file processing, right? You will be doing in cloud. So anytime when you work in cloud, you do need a Linux and Linux command. So my goal here is cover as many commands as we can, but you should be comfortable. So in order for us to do that, we may need to install a couple of software. So we'll install Putty, which I'll give you a link and all. It's pretty easy. So we'll install Putty software. And if you remember, we have created a key. We created a key PPK. So PPK key directly works with Putty. But there is another key called PEM, which is AWS key. And that key normally you have to convert into PPK. So I'll show you software called Puttygen. So Puttygen is an easy software which allows us to convert PEM to PPK. So you can convert PEM to PPK and you can do that. However, nowadays people are straightforward using PPK because AWS gives you that option. We did not have this option. We used to do this way, but now recently AWS is giving this option. So this is my agenda. In order for us to start, first let's log into AWS console. So let's log in to AWS console. Let me know if you're able to log in. Once we log in, we should be able to start our activity. Stop me anytime if I go fast or if you feel like, oh my God, I'm not understanding, stop me anytime. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. So now we will go to one of the here, I'll search AWS console, right? AWS console login. If you search AWS console login, I'm sure you will find the first link. And that link will take you to the AWS management console. So just click on it, right? And then log in. In case if you need to have a link, I can happy to provide you that link in the chat room so that you can easily go through that. I know it's early morning and I'm sure you all need a coffee and all. I always drink coffee because I'm not tea. I'm a tea guy. I always drink tea, and without tea, I normally don't start my day. So I was coming early, went to office, and boom, boom, boom. I start the coffee, tea, and all. So while you are, taking this lab, if you want to take like quick coffee or tea, feel free. No worries. Once we start, it will be straightforward. It will be fun. It will be a busy and active session. Okay. So now I'm going to log in. So when I log in, you are always log in as a root. This is called console login. So you're logging as a root. Please understand, when you log in as a root, has a problem, security problem. So sometimes in interview, people ask, is it a good idea to log in as a root? Answer is no. Ideally, you should log in as an IAM user. So when you are covering cloud concept, that time will cover about IAM user. This has a less privilege. This one is admin, so you can do almost anything. You can create infrastructure, you can destroy infrastructure. So if somebody hack your root user, they can damage too much. So it's a good idea to have MFA on. Now, MFA stands for multi-factor authentications. Most of the company will give you some kind of token or some kind of application which you generate OTP, one-time password, and that will allow you to control root access. And a good idea. But right now, we are using trial, so no problem. Use your email address. Once you use email address, go to next, and you enter your password. If you're lucky, you will go inside. If you're not lucky, it will ask you CAPTCHA. So today is my lucky day, and I'm in. Give me thumbs up if you are already in. In the WebEx, you can react, so that will give me opportunity that, yay, this one is in.
I can see recently visited. I can see two options, EC2 and IAM.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you don't see any of this, don't worry about it, because this is something I'm using. So that's why I have. You most likely will have EC2 and maybe others, but EC2 will be there. If not, don't worry about it. As long as you log in, see here, we created Ohio. This is our region. We created our instance, which is EC2 instance in Ohio. So most likely you should be in Ohio. But it is possible that when you created an instance, you might have selected Virginia. In that case, you may want to toggle to Virginia. But for my case, I have Ohio, and I should be fine. Surya and Ashutosh, I'm hoping you are in. You can read. Okay, perfect. Now,
I just started the instance actually.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, don't go too fast because otherwise you will be back. It's difficult. Give me a because if you are your situation will be quite different than mine. So let's go follow the flow. It will be easy. If you make a mistake or different page, we'll be in a trouble. So I just want to make sure we all three of us are on the same page. So now I go to EC2. Every step I will explain. It's not just starting and stopping, but making sure we also understand. So when we start, there are a couple of things we need to understand. These instances are two type of or three type of instances you may have, but right now we are using instance called on demand. We are using instance on demand. On demand instance means whenever you want to start, you can start. Whenever you want to stop, you can stop. This will cost you a little bit more. So it's a good idea when you're not using, it should stop it. So that's one. Anytime you miss the key, and if you want to go back, you can see here, but the problem is you cannot extract the old key. So like example, last week you created key and say, oh my God, I forgot it. That's it. You have to create a new instance because you cannot extract the old key. That's Amazon doesn't allow you that. So that's the challenge. So make sure you always save the key. That's one. Now, the snapshot is one thing I want you to understand. Snapshot, please understand. This EC2 is completely we created from grassroots, right, from scratch. But let's say you install software, lots of software, maybe Java, MySQL, another NetBeans, Eclipse, whatever you want. Then you want to take entire thing as a snapshot. So you put in a snapshot and you can give it to someone and they can use and they can get entire setup in 1 minute. So it's kind of a nice idea to do. Most companies, they do snapshots after they install the software because in case of emergency, they can restore it back. It's a good idea to do that. Those snapshot also cost you money, but it compared to EC2, it's cost almost 1/10. Now volume. Volume is nothing but hard drive. This is called attachable volume. So you have, if you need more, you can always add that. This is a load balancer, which is very important for you because all your requests actually goes to load balancer first. We talk about in case if you're not, there are two type of load balancer you are going through. One is called GLB, a global load balancer, and one is called application load balancer. So you are going through two load balancers in journey. I'll show you as well. Now, dedicated host only you need when you are bringing your own software or license. So example, if you have a company license which you want to transfer to your machine, you can, and that's called dedicated host. This will cost you a little bit more. However, only needed when you have, like example, you have Oracle license and you want to transfer to the cloud, you can do dedicated host also. So these are things you should know when you're using instance. But for us, we just did a simple instance, which is EC2. So now let's click on it. So when you click on it, you will see your instance might be there. And let me stop this one because it will be there. So I have here, because I teach various classes. So you can see here, I have Linux December 6. This is what we use, or 10.6. Which one we use? Which one? Did we use this one?
I can't see any instances over here.
I
Yeah,
think I
it
think
is.
last day we did, yeah, till Linux 10, I think.
Yeah. So this one, you might have a filter here. You may want to X out. There is a filter. You may want to X out.
Yeah, okay.
Then you will see. So ta-da!
Yeah, yeah, Jan 10 line Linux wizards. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So now you can click on that instance. Now, when you click on instance, before you start, I just want to make sure you understand certain things because I want to make sure if you are going for cloud, you need to know in and out, in and out. Many people are rushing and rushing in the sense that they don't understand the concept. Without concept, it's not going to be useful because in your interview or any activity, people will ask. So one of the things they will ask you about the AMI. So what is AMI? Now, AMI is a very important concept in Amazon. A stands for Amazon, M stands for machine, and I stands for image. So whatever image you have used to create these machine you are mentioning here. So it's a good idea to know that because if I want to replicate the similar or duplicate the similar setup, then I should use the same AMI. It's very important. Now, AWS gives you name and ID. These IDs are normally called this ID are unique, globally unique. So anytime resource, we call RNA, resource naming assignment, it's very important in AWS. Every resource has a unique ID. You can see that. Every resource has a unique ID. And because you can write an automation, because you know that this is going to be unique, so it's automation you can do. Now, if you click on networking, while the machine is down, I want to show you something interesting. You can see the networking is here, but public IP is not assigned. So when you stop it, Amazon does very interesting thing. Amazon remove your public IP. So when you stop it, you're not really reserving public IP. So public IP is a stateless. Remember that thing, stateless. These kind of things people ask in interview. Stateless means if I have a machine, I get IP address, but if I stop this machine and start again, I get a new IP address. So these IP address, which is publicly consumed, must be changing when you stop and start. But Amazon also keep another IP address, which is called private IP address. They call elastic IP. Elastic IP, they don't change. And that is why it's stateful. Remember that, stateful. Stateful means you stop it, start it, it will remain there. And this is one of the way AWS resources can continue to talk even though it's stopped. Even though if you want to search something, do one, it can discover these resources because it has stateful IP, but here it's a stateless. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions so far? No. Now, a couple of things I want to make sure you all understand, and this is very important. The reason I'm telling you, because anytime you create a EC2 instance, they always have VPC and security group. So I'll show you that also. So just for a second, we talk about, in case if you don't know, or maybe I might not, AWS think entire world as a flat rectangle. Okay. And from rectangle, they created certain regions. They created regions. Regions is nothing but geography. So whenever you mention region, I'm talking about geography. Now in geography, they have availability zone. Availability zone in easy language data centers. And the data centers are 300 miles away. That's what some guideline they have. So every time you create an instance, you will have region minimum. You will have availability zone minimum. And then in availability zone, there are many customers will be there. So for that customer separation, we create a virtualizations. Virtualization stands for VPC here, virtual private cloud. So example, if I work for Allstate, they might have their own virtual cloud. And if I work for Sears, they will have their own virtual cloud, VPC. This VPC gives them isolation, even though they both are in the same availability zone or same region, they may not know each other because it creates a virtualization and it isolation, sorry. VPC gives you strong isolation, and that's the promise AWS gives you, that your neighbor will not know what you're doing. So you should know VPC. This will give you idea where it is, because security starts from VPC. So if you don't know VPC, then it will be difficult, because if your region is here, for example, you might have to separate VPC. Each region, they have its own VPC. You cannot create instance without VPC, because that's the first line of security defense. So this way you can protect. Now, VPC itself is a circle. It's a big circle. Inside that, you can have many machines. So inside that, they give you also concept called subnet. Subnet means smaller network. So subnet 1, subnet 2. So example, big company like Sears, let's say they have marketing group. You can put in this network, and your staffing group, maybe in this network. So even though it's VPC, inside VPC, you can have subnet. Sub means small and net means network. And inside subnet, you can put your EC2 instance. I hope you are understanding. Give me thumbs up or say yes if you are clear. So far, so good?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Now, one more thing I want to cover before we jump into the lab. This is very important, okay? These are all topics you should know before you think about EC2 instance, right? Now, second thing, this subnet has two concepts. One is called private and one is called public. So private subnet you cannot access from outside. Public subnet you can access. Public subnet you can access. So you can see here, jumping. So let's repeat again. So region is geography. Availability zone means data center. In data center, each customer have its own VPC. One customer can have multi VPC. Each VPC have multiple subnet. We talk about multiple subnet. And subnets are also decorated as a private and public. If I put it private, no one from outside can access. Example, if I have a database, I'll put in private, right? Database always needs to be private. And if I have a web server, I can put in public, because web server can be accessed from outside world. So this is the way you should think about it. But currently, our is mostly public. So how do I know? So if I go to here, and if I, in networking, if I go a little bit down, right? So you will see somewhere concept about, let me go here. Yeah, here you go. So you can see private IP. Let me go to security. I think that would be easier. So if I go to security, first thing you will see security group. And that security group is, what is that? So let's talk about for a second. So this is our VPC, just for a second. And in VPC, let's say you have subnet, right? Subnet 1 and subnet 2. Now, please understand, subnet itself is nothing but small network. And inside you have machines. Let's say these are machines. These machines are also protected by security group. Each machine can have its own security group. So whenever I say security group, they are nothing but firewall. And security group are associated with particular subnet. So you can see here, if I scroll down, you can see here the security group. And in security group, you are saying what is allowed and what is not allowed. So you may see when we install some software, we need to come and change it. So security group is nothing but firewall before you go to your machine. So your machine is here, EC2 machine, and security group. So if you want to say, I want to allow these things, so what can you allow? So you can allow certain port, you can allow certain protocol, you can allow, and certain type of protocol, port, and certain type of IP address you can allow. So these are the three things you can allow. You can say, all state employee can come to my machine, or my home can come to my machine, but otherwise no one can come. We can also say particular port can come, allow, access allowed. You can say certain protocols are allowed, so you can do security. And you can do also same thing, what can go outside. Security group has both side of rule, inbound rule and outbound rule. Are we clear so far? Okay. Now, if I scroll, if I go here, right now, if I click on this, let me just click on it. So if I click on it, so if I click on it, you can see everything here. So you can first see here your VPC, because without VPC, there is no machine in cloud in EC2. So your VPC. Now this VPC will have subnet. So it can, or EC2 also you can go through subnet. So here security group, and if I let me go here, if I click here just for learning purpose, if I click on VPC, you may see some of the subnet associated with that also. So VPC always have by default one or two subnet. So this is the VPC, and if I click on VPC, and you can see here, I have in these options, you can see here, I have, this is the VPC. VPC is the main guy, and in that VPC by default you have one subnet available. So that way you can follow that. So this is your network. So if any machine you put, that machine will inherit these prefix. So let's talk about how it works. So VPC has this prefix. So example 172.31.00. You see there are 2 zeros. That's a big network. Now, please pay attention. This is very important. Now, if I go to subnet, they will follow first 2 digits by default, both subnet, and third digit will be changed. So example 172.31, the first subnet, and I'll say this is 1.0. So this one is now become a smaller because the first 2 digits are inheriting from VPC. And if I go here, they have to do differently. So 172, they have to use first 2 digits same, and then 2.0. So this is where they inherit. You might have seen 16. 16 means first 2 octet. First 2 octet is network, and then the rest of the things are machine. If you go to here, they use 3 machines. So that's 3 octets. So that's why we call 24. It means 3 is network, and last one is the host. It means you can add 255 machines. And same apply for here. You can customize that. More detail we cover in VPC, but it is important. I want to make sure, without any doubt, your machine will have some kind of this type of IP address. So now I'll go back to my instance just for a second. So let me go back to cancel this thing, and I'll go back to my. Let me just check over here, EC2. I'll go back here just for a second, so you can see here. So if I come back, I click on the instances in your time. Sometimes, by default, it adds this filter, and this filter sometimes costs. So you just need to remove that. So now if I click on John 10, and if you notice that networking, so if I go to networking, you see that bingo. You see this first 2 digit, it means I can, without doubt, I can tell this first 2 digit is coming from VPC. The third one is coming from subnet, and this is my host name. So if I add another machine, the third 3 digit will be same, 3 octet, and then fourth will be changed. So this is more important. Why? Because tomorrow if somebody asks why you have this IP, this reason, because you end up selecting wrong VPC. In that case, you may have totally different IP address, because VPC will define your first 2 prefix. Subnet will define third one, and all. And this is very important because sometimes you will have networking issue or access issue. Okay. Now let's start. So I'm going to click on, and I'm going to start my. So here I can start my instance. So it will take a couple of minutes to start. At this moment, any questions I can answer?
Well, not about what you're talking about, but
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No worries. But so far, I just started my what do you call EC2 instance, and it's going to take a couple of minutes to start. So let's refresh. And when you refresh it, it may be started. But any questions I can answer, it's already started. And when I start, I should get a public IP. So if I go to my networking, you should see the public IP. You might notice that this maintained the VPC information because it's EC2, but public IP does not follow that signature. Let me know if your EC2 is running, and if yes, awesome. Now, now let's download Putty. So go to Google and just say download Putty. Putty is one of the very popular software in the market. I've been using Putty for more than 20 years. It's simple, it's easy. I think everyone likes Putty. So click on download and then you will see putty.org. Be careful, there are so many softwares links are there where they have a virus, so be careful. Always, check before you download it. So right now, Putty is here, and I'm going to click on download Putty, right? And click on it. If you scroll down, you will see 64-bit Putty SSH client. Now, why we are using Putty? Because this is my machine, my laptop, and I will install Putty here. That will be tiny software, and using that, I'll go to cloud and I'll connect to my machine. My machine is EC2. I'll connect it. So this line which I established here is called SSH secure shell. So here to here, everything will be encrypted. It's just secure. When I connect, I need a public IP. So I need a public IP. I want to make sure you all understand. And in order for me to connect, I need also this instance key, which we created last week. So if you forgot that key, sorry, now you cannot connect. So I need two things, public IP in Putty, and I need a key. And of course, I need a username and password for this. Password is nothing but key. The username is by default, your username is EC2-user. That's the user we use. Now, right now what we do, we use it and we stop it, right? So when we use it and stop it, so right now I started public IP, but let's say I stop this thing after our class, and next day I start, there will be a new public IP. So you may want to change it. Key will remain same, username will remain same, but every time you stop and start, you have a new public IP. So I want to make sure you understand it's not going to work unless you change the public IP. So I just remember that. Anytime you stop and start, you get a new public IP because it's a stateless. Okay. So let's click on Putty. It will hardly take a half a minute to download, and it's done. Once you download that, you just click on it. So when you click on it, you get a Putty here. Don't go too fast because I want to make sure I explain each and everything. Every aspect is important. Once you know it, then you don't have to worry about it. Now here, we are normally going to give our machine IP name or machine name. So what we need to do, go to your EC2 where you have instance running, right? This is the EC2 instance running, right? Your instance running. Go to networking. So in EC2, this is your networking. And in networking, you can see you have public IP. Your IP might be different than mine, right? So you click on here and copy that. So when you copy that, the IP address is copied. Okay. Make sure you only use public. So you're copying public, no problem. Now, once you copy that, you go back to your Putty. So this is my Putty. I normally use this one, and then I can say your John 10 Linux. That's my session name. So please understand, this one will keep changing. So whenever you stop and start, this we have to change. But this is, we are going to write English name. So John 10 Linux, because I teach Linux class multiple times. So that's why I use John 10 Linux, so that way I know that.
but don't just save it. Be careful. Step by step we will go through. Okay, so the step 1 is add your IP address. Step 2 is this, but we are not done yet, so let's not do open or save.
Can I just
Sure.
where did you get the public IP?
You click on the, first of all, you started the instance,
Right.
then you go to networking. There is a networking tab right at the bottom.
Oh, networking. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you click on this one, right? When you click on that, you copy public IP address. Okay. Now, whatever you copy, you just do paste here, Control V. So your public IP is copied, and give an English name. Any name you can give, that doesn't matter, but don't do open save right now. We have one more activity to do, and then we are done. Okay. Now, this is saying I'm going to connect to this IP address. This is saying that I'm going to use this port, but I need a key. So for that, you need to click on SSH. So click on SSH. And when you click on SSH, there is auth. So SSH auth. So we want to make sure you click on auth. And if you expand that, there is a credential. So last week, if you remember, we have created a key for this instance. So in credentials, you're going to go to this one, which is a private key, right? And you click on browse. And if you downloaded that key will be available to your download folder. So for me, you can see it's crystal clear, visible, key is available. Every time when I create, I kind of give a date so students remember that. So here you can see I have Jan 10 Linux PPK. So I just double click on it. So that way I have PPK here. Give me thumbs up in case if you are able to do, or if you have a question, please do ask.
My public IP is not visible. It is.
Did you start the machine?
Yeah, I started.
If you start, you should be having, I can help you. It means you are behind, too behind. I thought you just mentioned a few minutes back you started, right?
Yeah, I started.
If you start, you always get public IP, and unless you have created a service.
Sharing your screen actually.
Now, 1 second. Let me just complete this because otherwise we will be in a screwed up. I'll help you. We are almost done with the finish line, so that's why I want to make sure we complete that. So don't just to open, click on session. Okay. So I'm going to click on session. So right now, please understand. I just want to repeat one more time. You don't have to do, but please don't go fast. First, I added a public IP. Then I added a logical name. Then I went to SSH. Then I went to auth key. Then I went to credential. In credential, I added public key. And public key we have downloaded last week. Once we did that, you go all the way up, go to session. After going to session, remember you go to all the way to session and then you save it. You save it. So next time it will be there. It's persistent. So now you save it. So when you save, the entry will be created. So Jan 10 Linux entry is created. And then you open it and it will open like this. Once you open, you just need to do accept. And when you accept it, it will ask you, what's your username? And you say EC2-user. And if you connect it, you're all set. Those who are able to connect, give me thumbs up. And for Surya, let's debug your issue. So for your case, I want to see where the problem is. So are you able to start the instance? And this is a networking tab. Do you see the networking?
Yeah, I can see it.
And then public IP should be there. Unless you have not started. Because if this is running, right, you should have.
Yeah, instance is running.
For some time you can refresh it in case if you have a problem. Just refresh it and see if that solves the problem. Because this is like, you know, up and down type of thing. You see that? So sometime it might hide it like this.
Oh, right.
So you may,
I just refresh.
yeah, you may see that. Now, are you able to see or no?
I can see. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. So let's configure the Putty quickly.
It's connection auth then credential, right?
Yes, credential, and then go to the key. I can do one more time, just giving you the picture. So I have Putty. And anytime next time when I come in, I just need to select that, and I need to do load. When I load, you can see everything. So first, make sure you add a IP. Don't type, copy paste. Second, you use logical name. So first, second. Third, you go to SSH, expand that, expand auth. So this is third, this is fourth. In auth, you have options. Sorry. Yeah. In auth, you have options to select private key, right?
So you want me to load up the key?
No. You don't have to. I'm talking to Surya only because he has not done that, right? And you select the PPK. Once you're done, go all the way up. Make sure you click on session and save the session.
Okay.
And then open it. So when you open, if you get a security thing, it accept and then type EC2-user. We are doing awesome now. So here we start our journey. Okay, I'm going to cover Linux command, basic Linux command. At the same time, I'm recording the sessions, and there is some homework in our Google class. I would strongly suggest you should do the homework. But if you don't do it, what will happen? You will know the command, but you will not have confidence. The reason we are covering Linux before the cloud, it's to give you much more value. And again, the goal of the exercise, Linux is lifetime. Last 20 plus years, I'm using Linux, and there is nothing much change. But I have seen people who know cloud but don't know Linux, hands are tied. Without Linux, your hands will be tied, I can tell you, because you cannot use Linux Python, you cannot do Linux Hadoop, you cannot do Linux Spark, because everything Spark, Hadoop, everything requires Linux. So it's important that you understand command also. So let's get started. A few commands we're going to do. In every command, I'm going to explain. So first, if you want to clear the screen, command will be clear. Clear will be removing this. I'll make a little bit screen more bigger so you can see better. Let me just do that. Let me show you how I do bigger screen in case if you want to do as well. You click on this tiny terminal, right? And you can click on the change setting. So click on that and change setting. And then you click on the appearance, and they have font use, which is 10 points. I want to change to, they use font 10 points. I want to change a little bit. So it will look good when you write a command. So I'm going to do, let's say 16 or 14. 16 will be better. And okay. And apply. So now it's better. Okay, so first thing first, if I want to create a file in Linux, stop me anytime, okay, because I'm not able to see you. So that's why I'm going to go, and I know you are professional, so I'm going a little faster than normal class because you can easily understand. I don't want to make this class so slow where we can not accomplish too much. So any average class take like 4 hours, it may take 2 hours for you guys. Okay? Stop me in case if you are having problem. First, couple of rules in a Linux. Rule number 1, everything in Linux is lowercase. So all things are lowercase unless there is a, so all commands will be in lowercase. If you write uppercase, it won't work. So Linux is a case sensitive. The second thing, some options. So like the way syntax works, first is a command, then space, and then option. Many options will start with a dash. So like example, you should dash L or you should dash F, but sometimes you will have an option which is capital F like that. Right? I will be explicit on that. But command, then there is a space. And sometimes after option, these are option, there will be a space and then there will be something else. So be careful with it. There is a space here. and it all has to be lowercase. If you write uppercase, it won't work. Linux also maintain all your command in history. So we'll cover that also. All good things about Linux you will learn in a couple of hours. So let's buckle up. Let's get started. So first, if I want to create a file, Linux has multiple way command, but first command is very popular called touch, and then you can say data or any file name. So here data is my file name. So if I say touch data, that's my file. Now this file is actually created in a cloud. I'm using these machines, but my SSH is just I'm typing here, I'm running command, but everything is right now happening in cloud in my instance. So that's why you won't even feel that you are working remotely, because cloud EC2 Putty gives you very interesting experience. And that's why people use Putty, because you're just using just like a local machine, but it automatically working. Your SSH establishment is there, SSH connection. So all folder, file, everything will be created here. Okay. So now when I do touch data, it creates empty a 0-byte file. And if you want to see, you just do ls space minus l, l as a Larry, and you will see that data file is created. Touch is a command, then space data. So this is the file name, ls minus l. So you can see ls minus l gives you the list of the file, and you can see there is a permission. I'll explain in a few minutes. So there is a permission aspects. This is the username. This is the group. So user or owner who created. Then this is the byte, how many bytes you have, right? And you can see it created January 14. Today is Makar Sankranti. So happy Makar Sankranti to all of you. And then this is the data file, right? So this is the data file. So it's very important for you to know this command ls minus l, because anytime you are working in cloud, you will have this kind of thing. Now permission is very important. So permission have a three divisions. Please pay attention. Don't do multitasking. These are very, very important. So first is the first 3 digit is called, sorry, not this one, this one. First, this is 3-oct. So they have 3 type of permission: read, write, and execute. That is, first one is for owner. Another thing is read, write, and execute, and that is for group. And then again read, write, and execute, that is for other user. So other user. So if I read it, other user has a read permission. RW means group has a read write, and owner has a read write. You can see right away. To be honest with you, the reason I'm in USA, because of this. Long time back, I'm talking about 30 plus years back, when I was interviewed by Nirma, they asked me this thing, only this. Everything I answer, but this they asked, and I could not answer. That time I felt very awkward that, oh my God, everything I knew. But they say, what is this dash means? So this is a special character which denote is a directory, is it a symbolic link, or is it a special file? That Linux knows that what to do with this file. So I'll show you in case a folder, it will be a D, symbolic link, it is a S. So all kind of things will be there. Most interview people will ask you about read, write permission, because Linux only control file level permission. So this is much more interesting. There is a command I'll cover, and I'll show you how to change the permission also. By default, you don't want to give anyone write permissions. So the good idea is 600. You can do like that. It means only you have read and write, and other has 0 permissions. If you want to give other read write permissions, so there is a way I can show you, so you can do that. So that's permission is very, very important in Linux, that you understand, because most of the time you will have issue. Most people, what they do, they create a group for your team. So when you work in a team, you create a group and add user into the group and give a group level permission. It means everyone will have the same. So example, Biswa is working, and Biswa is saying, you know what, Asutosh, why don't you modify that? So Asutosh is now able to modify because they are in the same group. But if you give a user level permission, it will be nightmare, because Biswa might have separate permission, Asutosh might have separate permission, and Surya can have separate permission. So when you are working in a group, always give a group level permission, so everyone have unique permission. Most of the time, team will have same permissions. Any question with respect to this setup? Touch command, right? Now you may say, but what is the benefit of this?
Tushar, like, could you please re-explain what is the dash is about?
Symbolic link.
Symbolic link.
Yeah, this is
So
symbolic
typically,
link. Symbolic link or directory or special file. So this is kind of signify symbolic link or special file.
Okay.
Right. Now, if I go in deeper in interview, people will say, why touch? And what is the benefit of zero file? Right? You're creating touch data and it always zero file. Touch always create zero file. What's the benefit? So programmer like you, let's say you are receiving data from many sources. Most of the people will put their data in FTP. And then you have program which is reading this data and then maybe adding in a Kafka, or you're doing some kind of processing, maybe you're doing some messaging, maybe you're inserting in a database, or you're doing some Spark streaming, something you're doing, right? How you know that the vendor has completed his part? How you will know? So what we suggest vendor to do, once they complete the push part or data file, they should do touch done. So instead of data done, so your program first thing will check is done exist, then it will continue. And the benefit of touch command, it will also maintain the time step when it is done. So tomorrow, if you want to troubleshoot, you can see the, oh, done was created this time frame. So this will give you opportunity, both group. Okay, so here is the problem. And without done, your program will not run. So this guy doesn't have to inform you. He just need to drop the file and then say done. He will create touch done and the file will be exist. If the file is exist, your program will process further. So that's the reason touch command most company use. Otherwise, you may not find usage of that. Touch command maintain the current timestamp. That's beautiful part. And 0 byte has no meaning, but the current timestamp. And because the file exists, it means download completed or upload completed, right? So that is the reason people use touch command. Questions? Good. Okay. So now let's say there is another way you can do file. So first you can do echo, double quotation, hi or hello, right? So if you write in echo, double quotation hello, message, whatever you write in message will display on the screen. Echo command display the message. So if I write this, it will show in a console. Console means screen. Console means screen. But if I write redirect like this and write a file name here, then it will write into file. So how should we do that? So you can say echo hello, I can see message. But if I say echo double quotation hello, and if I say my file, so when I do this thing, now it will not show on a screen, rather than it will write into file. So you can see here echo hello, and now hello will be return. You can see this means write. And if I use this thing 2 times, greater than 2 times, it's called append. Now, many people don't understand this simple fact, and that's why they create a lot of problem. Because write, what it does, it removes the previous content from the file. It removes the previous content from the file, and it always start new. So old data will be gone, and new data will be written. But in a append mode, old data will be there, and new data will be appended at the bottom. So you have accumulation. Anytime you do log, you always do this thing, append, log. But if you know that you are always getting new file, then you do this. This is called write. So this is also called redirect, or redirect. Redirect allows you to write to the file. So this message will be written to the file. Now check it out. If I press enter, you will not see the message. Message is written in the file. Any questions so far? Good. And if I want to see the content, you can say cat space my file. And if I press enter, I can see the content, because whatever content I wrote into this file, this content I can now see that. So cat command helps me to see what I have in the file. Right? Let's do one more time. So echo hello friends. And this time I do double quotation, but I use 2 times and my file. So it will maintain the previous data and it will add this line in that file. So you can see now cat my file, and I can see both lines. As I said before, I'm recording the sessions, and at the end of the class, I'll give you recording. But make sure you understand the difference between write versus append. Clear? If I write this command again, then old data will be gone and new data will be written. Okay, if I do now ls minus l, I should have two files. One with touch command data file, and the second is my file. Easy. Do you guys agree or not? Very simple. I can create many files, but that's not the point for this class. Now, so I created one file for touch command and second thing created through echo. Now I can do copy command. So copy command works very simple. You have original file and you want to create a new file. So you will create from this file to new file. That's also a new file you can create. Copy command start with cp, lowercase cp. So in our case, cp, my file, which will go as original file, and I can say my file 1 or any name I can give. So now from this file, it will create a new file. You will have this file and you will have a new file. So you will create a new file from the original file. So let's do it. So cp stands for copy, then space, my file, space, my file 1. And you can see now I have file created. I can create another file, copy, my file 2. I can create as many files I want. And if I do the ls minus l, I will see all files are created here. So you can see now I created a couple of files using copy command. So I created this and I created this, and you can see that all the files are created. They will have the same message because you're creating an original to new, so the message will be same. If you do cat command my file 2, then you can see that message. If I do cat command my file 1, you will see the same message because you created from the original file. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Now if I want to do ls minus l, it gives me all file. But if I say ls minus l m file, it will give you only, sorry, my mistake, my file, it give you only one file. But if I say ls minus l my file question mark, this is very powerful. This is called wildcard. My file is a prefix, 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 but it's a question, means after there should be something. So you can see 1 and 2 is 1. So in that case, you will see the data. When you do question mark, means prefix has to be this and then one character. It can be any character. So you can see this one. But any character is required. But if you remove that and if you say star, it will bring all files, which is starting with my file. So this is called wildcard, any character. So if you have after that something more, it will bring. This command can only bring any character which has one character. But if this file has something extra, this will not show up because only one character is allowed after my file. But if you do star, any character like that, even 0 character is fine, but it has to be prefix and then anything after. So that's why my file is star is very popular command. But some people use question when they know that only one digit is different or one digit is after the prefix. Good. So we talk about copy. Now all the command, if I write history, I can see all command which I have done so far. So if I write history command, history, when I write history shows all my command. This is the beautiful part about Linux, it maintains everything. So if you want to run particular command, you can use that number and you can run. So example, if I want to run this 20 command, then I just use, I don't have to write history now because history through I know the number. I use exclamation and 20 and you can see that command runs, right? So any command which you want to run, you can use that exclamations and that command number. So example, if I want to do clear screen, so here it's 9. So if I do 9, then it clears the screen. So it's kind of nice that you can use that history command. History command is very powerful. So in case today you stop it and tomorrow you start, you can see all the things you have done last week or yesterday. Question, concerns, doubt? Good. Okay, perfect. So let's clear the screen. Now let's do one more. So we'll do new file. Let me move this guy a little bit this side. So let's create a new file, echo and I'll say friend and redirect to my friend. Now you saw the copy command. It's a my friend to my friend one. So copy command allow that. But there is one thing called MV, which is called move or rename. If I do my friend to, let's say, my friend two, there is a difference between these two commands. Copy command, this has original and this is the new. So it creates two files. Original it maintains and new it creates. Move command is nothing but rename. So the old name will be gone and new name will be created. So here now you are creating a new name. Make sure you understand that part. Sometimes you made a mistake in folder name or file name, and if you want to rename, the command is move. Sometimes you have directory, and in the directory you created file, but you realize that you're supposed to create this file in this directory. Then you have to move that. So that's very popular command, move. Copy command will keep here and here. Move command will transfer this file to here. It looks like a rename, but it also doing moving. So if I do this, the original file is gone. So if I now try to do cat my friend, it won't be there. But if I say cat my friend too, it should be there. Right? Clear with copy and move. Now there is one command called remove. So you do rm stands for remove, right? And you say -f file, and you can give a file name. So in that case, if I say my file too, sorry, my friend, and Linux has a very interesting thing. You write a little bit and do tab. If you write a little bit and tab, it will auto finish everything. So you can see, you can finish everything. So you can write a little bit, and if you press tab, if it is there, it will see there are so many have a name same. So if I do like that, it's kind of doing that. So let me repeat: rm -f. If I do m y and if I press tab, it is writing tab again tab. So it says this many file has the same prefix. So as I write, it will finish, right? And I say one. So I'm deleting that file. So anytime you delete, Linux does not give you opportunity to undo. So be careful when you delete a file, because Linux is very one time. So mistakes are not undone in Linux. It's not like recycling bin as Windows where you can undo. Here it's not. So that's why it's pretty risky to delete the file. Be careful when you delete the file. So anytime when you delete a file, rm -f and then file name. So you can say my friend one, and you're deleting that file. So that file will be gone forever, right? And if you want a clear screen, clear. If you want to see the current working directory, what's the command? Current working directory. What's the command? PWD. Awesome, awesome. Now I'm going to change a little bit advanced command. Okay, this will be very helpful for cloud. So let's say I want to know who is the user. So I say who. And if I say who am I, so I can say who am I. And if I say who space am I, so I can see that as well. Now you can see here when I say who, it tells me who has logged in and where they logged in, right? What time they logged in. And who am I? It's giving me the username. So it's very important that who and who am I. Now, this one, there is a difference between who am I and who space am I. Very, very interesting thing. So please understand. Let's say I logged in with the terminal. So when I logged in as a user, first time I logged in as a, let's say, Mike. And then I switch from this terminal itself, I change my role to Kevin. Okay. So this who am I will give you Kevin. When I do run this command, who am I? It gives me Kevin. But if I run this command, it always give me Mike. So if you want a current user, then you need to do who space am I. If you want to use who logged in, then you need to do who am I. And this is very important. This is a logged in user, and you can switch from one user to user without changing the terminal. In that case, who am I will give you that option. It's very, very limited people know about it, but it is powerful. So sometime when you run the program, and if you want to run program under different user, then you check who am I is a different user. And if that user has a permissions, you may allow, otherwise you don't allow. because logged in user may be someone else, and the executor user may be something else. In that case, you may separate it out. Now, if you do ls minus l, all file have by default, when you create, it automatically capture your username. So you can see this username, it capture automatically. Linux by default, user and group kind of keep the same. User and group by default, it creates the same. So example, if I create a user, Mike, it creates not only user, but it also create a group for Mike also. So Linux by default create user and group, and user is automatically added into group. That's by default same to same. There is no benefit, but in because Linux, each file have a user and group. So if you don't have group, then it will be difficult. So Linux by default use user and group, but this group can be different. You can have student group, instructor group, or staff. You can have group, but Linux always create by default. So now if I want to know what group this guy have, so you can just say ID EC2 dash user. So it will give you idea that who is this user. So you can see UID, which is the unique number. This is the user, and GID. So you can see UID and GID matching, and the GID EC2 user means user and groups are same. Now if you say groups, this user belongs to the group. So by default, that user is also belong to their own group. But you can see this user has a many group. He is admin group also. It's another wheel groups also, and many groups. So this user is a part of many groups. Of course, he's a powerful user because he's part of admin group. Again, there are many groups are there in the system, and that's why you're able to see that this user can do almost anything because it's admin. Not all users will have. Most of the user will have their UID and they themselves as a group, and groups will only their name because they didn't have permission. You can give permission, so I'll cover that as well, so you can know, because sometimes you may want to create a group, you want to add users, and you want to give a permission. So I'll cover that as well in a few minutes. Any questions so far? Good. Okay, now let's clear the screen. Now let's create a directory. So if I want to create a directory, command is mkdir. This is the folder or directory. So I'll say directory 1. I created directory 1, and you can say same thing, directory 2. Now, what's the difference between file and directory? File is a file, very simple, right? File is just nothing, a text file like this. Directory is nothing but a folder, and inside folder you can have files or folders like that. This is kind of logical grouping. So folder or directory is same. Folder or directory is same. Inside that you can have file or you can have folder also. But you cannot have file within file, you cannot have folder, because file is ultimate leaf node. So here we are talking about what you call directory. Now, many Linux have a command called tree. I'm not sure if this has it. This doesn't have it. But many Linux have a command called tree, and that will show you the nice tree structures like that. Nice tree structures. So you can see like folder within a folder, directory within a directory like that. You can install the command if you want. You can do that as well. So there is a way in a Linux you can install the command which they call package. Now I have not covered yet, but just want to give you an idea. Linux is an open platform, means you can add as much as you want, remove as much as you want, and then once you configure, you can create your own distribution. So Biswa can say Biswa Linux, and Surya can say Surya Linux, and you can start selling. Many people do that. They kind of download the CentOS, then they add software, then they customize it, then they create an image, and they make that image marketplace, like put it in Amazon or other, and then they charge maybe $1, $5, $10. More people use it, they pay you money. So example, there are many softwares available which are open source. Like example, one software, in case if you know cat software is for what you call application tracking system for the people who are recruiter. So if you download that, it may take a 10 minutes to 10 or 15 minutes for you to download, install, configure. Once you configure it, you create a AMI Linux cat, and those who need it, one time you charge maybe $5, and many people use because this has a lot of good thing. But many people don't know how Linux work, how this works. So if you configure that, you charge. Like example, same thing for MySQL and others also. So many people do their distribution type of thing. Okay. So we create a directory. Now let's say if I want to remove the directory, the command is rm dir, rmdir, and dir1. So you can remove the directory. File removing file, you use rm and -f for file, but for directory, you do rm dir directory2. So here I did it. Now, let's say again, I want to create a directory. So I make directory 1. And accidentally, if I try to create the same directory, it's going to cry because hey, directory already exists, right? So I can create a directory as many as you want. So I can say directory 2, directory 3, directory 4. So you can see now, if I say ls-l, then I can see all directories are created at once. So you can see now, right? So you can see directory 1 is created, and here all directories are created at the once. Any questions so far? Good. Many people have this problem and they don't know the solutions. I'm going to give you the solution because when you are writing program, you don't know the directory exists or not. So Linux gives you a command called p. P means present. So if I write this thing mkdir, please say here mkdir dir1, I will get an error. But if I write mkdir -p directory 1, I will not get an error. So -p will check if directory exists. If yes, ignore it. If not, create it. An easy way Linux will allow you the directory creation. Good. Any questions? This is very severe command. You may like that when you are running with this issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's clear the screen and we'll go to clear the screen. Now let's say I want to jump to the directory 2. So there's a command called cd change directory 2. So I'm jumping there. Now if I do, I'm now in directory 2. So cd command allows you. So you are here, and if you want to go to directory, you do cd. Cd means change directory, and then space which directory you want to go. So I'm in a directory 2. Now let's say if I want to go to directory 3. If I write simple command, it won't work because I'm in here right now. I'm here. So if I'm here, I cannot go to directory 3 because directory 3 is the same level. So either I have to come back, right? If I come back, I'm going to the main, and from there I can go to the directory 3. So you need to be careful. You need to understand. So if I do pwd, I can see I'm in a directory 2. And if I do ls-l, it won't find directory 3. So if I do cd directory 3, it won't work because I'm not there. So I have two choices. One, I can give complete path. I can give complete path like this to directory 3, and I can jump from directory 2 to straight to directory 3. If I give complete path, this is called absolute path. Absolute path. Absolute path means you're giving starting from slash. Or I can give relative path. So relative path won't work. Why? Because in relative path, you have to come out and then you go to directory 3. That's the only choice you have. So if you are in directory 2 and you want to jump to directory 3, you can do that through absolute path. But I'm going to show you first relative path and then absolute path. So first thing, normally what people do, they go to cd, then dot dot. This is very powerful. cd space. Make sure you understand after command, there is always a space. So cd space dot dot means go to the current directory, which is in our case, current directory is this. Will come out from directory 2. Check it out. So if I press enter and if I do pwd, I'm out. Now if I do ls-l, I can see directory 3. So I can set directory 3 and I can be inside. It's very important for us to understand that if you do dot dot, it will go to the parent directory. You can see that you are now here in parent directory. So you came out to parent directory. When you do ls-l, you can see directory 3. So now you can easily do directory 3 and then do pwd. Any questions so far?
No.
Now I'm going to straight go to directory 2. Check it out. So right now I'm in pwd. Sorry. I'm pwd. I'm in directory 3. So if I want to go directly to what do you call directory 2, I'll say cd, then / home. I write ho and then tab, then ec2, then tab, directory 2. So you can see now I'm jumping to the directory 2, and if I do pwd, I'm in directory 2. This is also very popular if you want to go from one directory to another directory. So if you are here, you are in directory to this, you do cd, then space and give a complete path. and you go. I normally write slash and then write H and tab and then EC2 tab and like that. So you're now jumped there. If you want to come back, you do cd dot dot. So this is one of the people asking in sometimes in exam or interview, how many ways you can come back. You can just do cd and press enter, you will come back. This is my popular command. If I do cd, it will straight go to my home directory, which will be this directory. So I normally just write cd. I don't do dot dot because dot dot means I go to parent directory, but I know I want to go to my home directory. Just do this and you are back to your home directory. So just writing that. Some people also do cd tilde like that. Why would you write tilde? If it is cd works for you, then there is no need to do. They both do the same thing. So cd will take you directly to the home directory. Some people also write like this way, $home. Why would you write this thing? If cd works for you, why all those things you need to do? Make sense or no? Just jump into that. Okay. So what are the commands we covered so far? Just want to repeat so at least everyone understand. We started with clear, right? Clear. Give me some command name. What we cover? Echo, touch,
Yeah.
MV,
cat, mv, rm, copy, mkdir, rmdir, cd, pwd, right? ls, right? So far so good?
Yeah.
Any question? Oh, history, right? So we cover this. So far, I'm hoping you guys are with me. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to do permission command, okay? Permission, which is called chmod, right? So for that, I need to draw a picture so you can easily understand. See, when you give any Linux a permission, it's octet. So the way it works is RWX, and it's a binary. So it's a 1, 2, and 4. So if you want to give read permission, you can just say 4, 0, 0. If you want to read and write, you can say 4, 2, 0. So this is decimal wise, this is 4. Decimal wise, this is 4 plus 2, 6. And if you want to give every permission, you say 4, 2, 1. So 4 plus 2, 6. 6 plus 1, 7. If you want to give no permission, 0, 0, 0. So decimal wise, it is 0. Now, that part is pretty clear. Now Linux follow owner, group, and user. If I want to give owner all permission and group and user no permission, what should I do?
So owner should be
Or
7.
7.
Owner
7.
should be 7,
And rest one is 0.
0.
If I want to give everyone write permission, what should I do?
2, 2, 2.
Perfect. If I want to give read and write everyone, what should I do?
4, 2, 0.
No, 6, I think 6.
6.
6.
6 and 6. If I want to give everyone execute permission,
1, 1, 1.
1, 1, 1. And you understand, when you want to give this permission, you add that. So this is the number you pick. So if you give 6, so it means read and write permissions you have. If you give this only, then you're giving permission. So if you understand this, then we can do chmod. Because people don't get that. What is this 7 means? So 7 means like 4, 2, 1. This is a 7. So this is, if somebody gives 7, actually that means you are giving 4, 2, 1 means read, write, and execute means you give all permission. And if you are owner, then give 7, then owner have all permission. If you give 7 here, group have 7. If you give this, then everyone has permission. So make sure you understand that. So now let's do this exercise here. So for that, let's create a file. So echo new file, double quotation, new. So I have new ls minus l. So you can see I have new file. You can see that by default, it gives me this type of permissions, and this is the file. Now I want to give everyone everything, everyone everything, right? So the command is this is chmod. So chmod, that's a command, change mode 777 and new. And if I do ls minus l new now, you will see that everything has redirect, execute, redirect, execution, redirect, execute. Pretty good, huh? You change the color also. Now, let's say I want to give everyone read permission. Chmod, read means 4, 4, 4, new. And ls minus l, and you can have this thing, right? And if you want to give only owner 7 and rest 0, they can do chmod 7, 0, 0. Owner has everything, group has 0, nothing, and others have 0. Pretty good. And if I do ls minus l, I can see that. Was it hard at all?
Can you please re-explain that that chart again? Sorry, I'm kind of little bit
Yeah. So what should I explain here? Let's example. You need a 7. You need everything.
So read means like 4, right?
Yes.
And okay.
See, if you need everything, then this 4 you have to give. If you need this, you need to give 2. If you don't give, it's a 0. So let's say if you only need read, what you are going to give? 4, because read means 4. Write means 2. Execute means 1. Right? If you only want to give read, what are you going to give here? 4. But let's say if you only want to give write, what would you give? So in that case, 2, and rest one will be 0. First, you need to understand this. Then you need to understand whom you want to give, and then you put this thing. So let's example, if you want to say owner should get a read write permission, then this. Then you say what should group will get? Group, let's say group want everything, then you give 7. Use other should give nothing, then you can say 0. You can do that mix. So this chart will give us who needs what, right? If group needs everything, then you have to do this way, 4 to 1, right? Once you understand this number, then you can say who need this thing, and then you put that number. So example, owner need nothing, group need nothing, but user need everything, then you do 7.
Okay.
Makes sense? Very powerful. Ashutosh, any question from you?
No. I'm good.
Following, right? So far, so good. Awesome. Okay, so this is good. Any other questions I can answer before I switch over? Okay, so go ahead.
No. I'm good.
Yeah. Now the next one is so we did that. Now I'm going to show you process. So process means if you do PS, you will see current user process, current owner process, sorry, user or owner. But if you do PS means process minus EF, very useful command for your job perspective, PS minus EF. So you can enter that and you can see entire process running on your computer. PS means process. So just like in Windows, when you start Word, you get a process. Excel, Google Chrome, Edge, everything you start, it's a process. Same thing, Linux has a process, but they are background. E means expressions, A means all, F means like file. So it also show you the file also, which file is running. So you can see here there are files are running also. But what we are trying to understand, so if somebody want to know what is running, so you can see here there are so many things are running, right? Now we don't know all because this is what AWS is running. So if I want to narrow down and say, is there a web server running? Then you can say pipe. You can say pipe like that. So what does it do? So this command will now get into other command. So this command output. So this output which you see here will go to other command. So if I want to know how many processes are running, so first of all, command is WC. WC means word count. WC means word count, and minus L. L means line. Minus L. So this command actually count lines. This command, so if I say WC minus L, it counts word count line L, L for line. But if I do pipe, then this command will become input to this. So like whatever you see on the screen will be input. So it will count how many lines you have. Check it out. So if I press enter, it will take total 95 process are running. So let's do again. If I do WC minus L like this, then I need a file name or something as an input, which I cannot give it. So I say PS minus EF. If I run, this is the screen. But if I do up arrow, I can see previous command. Up arrow through, I can see previous command. So PS minus EF. If I do pipe means after I command, I'll run the second command. So this command, first command will run. It will get the output, and it will pass input to the next command, which is WC minus L. And you can see right now 95. I can also say that grab root and then do. So I can say I don't want to see all the users. See, there are two users, EC2 user and root SSHD. I don't want to know everyone. I want to know how many process root is using. So I can say grab the root. So it will check root anywhere root, and then it will count. So check it out. So oops, sorry. So you can see right now 85 processes are executed by root user. So this command will go here. This will grab only root and then send it. So now you know that. If you say, hey, I want to know how many process is executed by other user but not root. So you can use up arrow and just say exclude root. Exclude means minus v. So you're grabbing means filter, and you are saying exclude root from the list and count. So you can see now 12 is executed by other than this. This itself is a miracle in Linux, which is called pipeline. Each command output will become input. Output will become input, and Hadoop is created based on this. So this itself is a task or job, and when you do combine that, it's called pipeline. So Hadoop concept is like that. Each one can run independently, and Linux this use pipeline, and this is one of the reason Linux become more popular. The reason it becomes more popular because it allows you tremendous opportunity, right? One command, you don't have to write a programming, you just write few commands and it will do a magic here, right? If you want to say, I want to write this thing in a file, you can also do grab like this and write a file name. So rather than seeing all the screen here, you can write the count into file. So you can pipe, and then you can redirect to file, or you can redirect to console also, right? Let's say example, if I do ls minus L. So if I do ls minus L, I see that. And if I do ls minus L space pipe wc minus L, then it will count that also. Make sense? If you say, no, I don't want to count. I want to count only. So I can say ls minus L grep dir, right? I want to count how many directory you have. So you can say 4. So this way you can combine. Remember wc space minus L. WC stands for word count line. Grep will filter. If I find it, I'll get it and then pass only those data which has a directory. So here you can see this one has directory. If you say, hey, exclude directory, just do minus v here. That will give you exclude. So you can use up arrow. You don't have to type everything, and minus v, and you can get that. Question, concerns, doubt? I'm hoping everyone is doing it so far.
Yes.
So now process part, like example, we do PS minus EEF, which I most of the time I use, and let's say I say grab. Let's do first EF. Now, why we do this thing? So this will help you. Is database is running. So EF, let's say example, if I want to see MySQL is running, so I'll say grab MySQL. So there's no MySQL. Is Apache running? HTTP? No, Apache is not running. But let's say example, if I'm saying SSH is running, then answer yes, SSH is running. So you can see it is running. Now, If it is not running, can I install it? Can I configure it? Answer is yes, you can do that. And that is something DevOps, when you take a DevOps class, it will be very useful, how to install and all. So anytime you want to install any software, anytime you want to install a software, you need to be a root user. I'll cover that in coming class. But most important part is this PS command is useful. Now, what happens sometimes just in Windows, you right click and end task, right? You right click and end task, right? You do end task. In Linux, you need to know the process ID. So every program which is running, create a process ID. So if you know the process ID, then you can kill it. So I'm not going to do right now, but I'll say kill. Then you can say -9. 9 means interrupt, and then process number 3605. Then it's end task. So sometimes this is very powerful. You may not get this type of command in a real life because it's only admin does, but kill -9, it's a highest priority 3605. So kill command through you can stop any hanging process or unused process. So sometimes one process is taking 100% CPU or memory, then you may want to kill that. Now, what is -9? Can I do -3? So these are different interrupts are there. The lower the number, it will take time to kill it. So it will gracefully stop it. If you give 9, it is aggressively stop it like that. So it's kind of forcefully stop. If you give a lower number, it will still stop, but it will wait, and it will stop. I don't like to wait. So I use -9, but sometimes you do -3, it will, put all the memory in the core dump and all, and then it will stop. So it's kind of good idea. Sometimes you have to do like -3, -5 like that. But if you really want to stop, you know what you're doing, you can do that -9. So all this process are visible. Sometimes you may know that this process is taking more memory. You say, but how do I know the process is taking more memory, right? So there is a command called top, top. If you do top command, it will give you clear idea about which process is taking what memory. So if you press enter, top, now top, and you will see now this is the process ID, right? And this is the priority, right? And you can see here CPU. So right now it looks like pretty good right now. No one is using CPU or memory, but if somebody is using CPU or memory, then you will know that, and then you will know the process ID, then you will kill that process or you will stop it. Here also you can see how we are doing. So you can see here we have total 93 tasks running. Some tasks are sleeping mode, right? And some are right now, right? We have memory, which is this thing, and we have this much free. This one is used. So we know that what's going on. These are the users. Right now, nothing is going that crazy. And we know which commands are executed. Just like in Excel, PowerPoint, these are the program file. You can, when you run the MySQL, you will see MySQL here, web server here, like that. So you can see who is using what, right? This, and using this, you can kind of, kill the process if you want to. If you want to come out from there, just press Q. Q stands for quit. So if you do Q, it will quit it like that. If you want to go again, just do top or up arrow, press enter. You can see that. And you can keep it like that. This is auto update. So you will see that refresh will happen automatically as things change a little bit. So you don't have to, rerun again. You can keep it as a monitor. And if you do Q, Q means quit it and it come out, right? If you want to redirect this thing to file, you can do that also, top to file, and that output of this whole screen will go to the file also. Good. So that covers this thing. Now, any question, concerns, doubt?
No.
Okay. Now, just want to take you one thing here. I want to cover VI editor because that is important. So this command which I'm explaining, it's all in our slides, and all those things are in Google Class. So spend some time. You will have fun. More you do is everything what I cover, it's in Google Class. It's not just theory, and I expect you to also do some lab because that way it will help you, right? So you can play around that. Now I'm going to cover VI editor. So for that, I have created a forum also. I would strongly suggest you should become a member of forum. There is no additional cost for that. Once you become a student, you have access to that. I do a lot of videos and all because it gives you real benefit. So if you can access with me, I'll give you a link. If you sign up, I'll approve your request because some of the things I put in a forum with the videos and all, it will be plus point for you to have additional resources. And let me put it in chat room. So you can link that. And when you go through that, in chat room, I put the link, go for it. And in this exercise, you will see sign up button here. You click on that sign up, enter your user informations. I will check your informations and then I'll approve it. I am already signed up. So if you have not signed up, you may want to sign up. I'll check your information and I'll approve. As soon as I get a request, it won't take more than a few minutes for me to approve because that's important. Now, let's say you sign up, right? And you are going here, you have access to all my forum. Example, if you want to prepare resume, interview preparations, help yourself also. By the way, our QA class starts today, 10:30, QA manual and Power BI at 2 p.m. So there are class related information you can see also here, big data and all. So Power BI is 2 o'clock and quality assurance is 10:30 today. But your class is system engineering. So system engineering is here where you will find some useful information. I'm keep adding it. You can see 1,000 students have access. If I click on that, there are informations and I have VI editor and I have Linux command. So whatever you do right now, this command, I documented here. I would strongly suggest you read about it, something, plus point. It's kind of explain more than what I explain here. So it's good idea, some videos, how to create a VMs, what the commands we have, how to join putties, all those things I kind of put together here. So you can play around and then some exercise, some lab and all. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Funny part, this is something never happened. Maybe it's internet or flicking or what. I hope you guys are also in a hi-fi internet also, right? It's
Yeah.
Okay. No worries. Let's do in terminal. Write VI. VI stands for virtual emulator space file name, my data. You can write any file name, right? VI space file name, any file name, and press enter. When you press enter, you are by default coming to VI editor, but it's a read only. You cannot really type. You can see on the bottom, there is a status. It says that there is a file name. It's going to be new and there is no mode here. It means your command mode. So if you want to write something, press I lowercase, I lowercase. So you can see now it says insert mode. So now you're in its insert mode and you can write any 10 plus line. Just write it. Don't just write like randomly. Just write some English kind of things. So I am happy today, right? Today is Saturday. And I'm taking Linux class. Linux is so much fun. Easy to understand. Like I write a couple of lines. This is VI editor. So I wrote a few lines. You can see it's just like a notepad. But the notepad which we are using here is in a VI. So just like a normal notepad in a Windows you have, right? This notepad. This notepad, similar thing in a Linux is a VI editor, right? Notepad on Windows by default support, right? Same thing in Linux by default VI editor supports. So you write a few lines and now I'm going to show you how to toggle the mode. So let's example, if I press escape, then insert will disappear. So you see insert disappear. Now let's say I want to go to first line. Then you do colon 1, colon 1, colon 1. So colon 1 means you do colon and 1. So now it is going to go here. If I say colon dollar, then it will go to the last line. Okay, so see here 1 like that. And if I say colon dollar, dollar will go to the last line. If I say colon 3, it will go to the third line. Colon 4, it will go to the fourth line. But make sure you do escape first. because if you don't do escape, it will start writing it. So if it is writing, you're in insert mode. Escape is a command mode. So escape, then colon, dollar. You don't have to do escape again and again. But if you want to come out, you just do escape, colon 1 like that. So you kind of switch that. So colon 5, you go to fifth line like that. 1 means first line like that. So far so good. Jumping line, escape, and then you do colon and the line 1 or 5, whatever you want, and you can jump it. Make sense or no?
Uh-huh.
Now,
Yes.
sometimes, if somebody asks, go to 5 line, it's pretty hard, right? So it's a good idea. VI also give you temporary line number, temporary. So you can say set, colon, set, NU. If you do that, NU, so it will give you temporary number. It's not going to save it. It just give you temporary number. And if I do 6, it's kind of visible. If I say 1, it's visible, right? Colon 1, colon 5, colon 6. So set NU. Set NU allows you that thing. And if you do if you do set any command, you do set part, right? This NU is number, right? But let's say if I want to search something, so I'll say colon /, and I can write whatever I want. So like example, I want to search SO. So if I press enter, it will highlight if there is a SO in the file. Make sense? If there are multiple, then you can press N as a Nancy. It will move to the next thing. So like example, colon / happy. So I have 1, and that's all I have. But if I say colon / is, I have multiple E's. So you can say N. I can jump around, right? N. I can jump around. So that's called new. Make sense? So
Yeah.
again, colon /, right? / it's easy way to, like example, if I say I, it will go start from top like that. Sometimes people do question, like question, and then they I, and you will see something. It does almost same, but based on the theory, it should start from bottom. That's what it says. It starts from bottom. So example, question VI, it should start from bottom and then go up. That's the way it's supposed to. But sometimes editor doesn't do good there. But actually, one start from top and one start from bottom. Now, let's say I want to delete this line. Remember, you should be escape mode. There should not be insert anywhere. Okay. So if I want to delete the line, then you just do DD. DD stands for delete the line. So you delete the line, DD, lowercase. And if you want to undo, just say U. Undo means U, right? So I already made a mistake because I undo everything, whatever I type. So let me type again. So let me type again, sorry. This is, I undo everything. This is Linux. I'm learning VI. VI is so much fun. Today I am very happy. Today is Saturday, like that. Okay. So if I want to delete any line, I go to that line. Doesn't matter where I am. It can be middle, it can be start, and just press DD. DD means delete. And if you press U, it will undo. So DD means delete. But let's say you want to delete 2 lines. So go up. And let's say I want to delete this 2 line. So you say first you press 2, number 2, and DD. Number 2, DD. So it will delete 2 lines now. And if you do U, it will bring it back. So if you want to delete 5 line, you do 5 first and then DD. 5 DD. 5 DD means it will delete the 5 line. U means undo. So far so good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say I want to copy this line. Any line, doesn't matter. So if you want to copy this line, in that case you do Y. It's called yank. And then wherever you want to paste it, go there. Wherever you want to paste, and then do P. P means paste. So it will paste it. So like example, if I want to copy this thing, and I want to copy 3 lines, so I'll say 3 YY, and then go down and P. P means paste it. Make sense or no? So example here, if I want to copy 2 lines, so I should 2 YY, and then I can do P means paste it. So yeah, YY means copy and P means paste it. DD means delete and U means undo it. So far so good. Let's say I want to save this thing, but I don't want to come out from the file. I want to save it, but I don't want to come out from the file. So you do colon, escape colon, W. W means write to the file. So you write to the file. If you say WQ means you write and you come out. So Q means quit. So you come out. Some people do ZZ and ZZ will do the same thing. Again, there are so many ways you can do the same thing, but WQ I mostly use. W means I write and I continue. But let's say I don't want to write. Then I'll say colon Q exclamation. Exclamation means forcefully come out. Q means quit. But if you're not save it, it will say, hey, are you sure you don't want to save it? If you don't want to be prompted, you do exclamation, which is the forcefully. So right now I want to save it. So I'll say escape, colon W. W means write. So this will be saved to my file, but I'm still inside the file. So it's clearly say that the data has been written to this file. But now let's say I want to come out. So I'll say escape, colon WQ, write and quit. Write and quit, WQ. You can see here, escape, colon WQ, write and quit. And if I press enter, it will come out. If I do cat, my data, I can see that file. All the data I can see now, right? Because I wrote it. And if I do VI, file name, my data, and press enter, I'm in. But let's say I delete one line, just 3 lines, like say 3DD. I deleted and I realized I made a mistake. I don't want to save it. In that situation, you do escape, colon Q. If I do colon Q, it's going to say, are you sure? You made a change and you're not saving it. It's going to not allow us. It's not going to allow. But it also give me hint that you need to use exclamation so you can forcefully come out. So I want to come out. I made a mistake. So I say colon Q exclamation. So colon Q exclamation means you quit forcefully. Quit forcefully. So if you press enter, now the changes which you made it gone. So if I do VI again, my data, I'm seeing all my original data because I did not save the delete which I made. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Now, if you, let's say, if you want to delete one special one character, you can do X, you can do that. So you can delete one character like that. Again, useful. Sometimes you realize that these 2 lines supposed to be in 1 line. These 2 lines should be 1 line. So if you have 1 line and your second line here, and you need this second line to be moved here, that's called join. So you need to do Shift J, capital J, make sure. So then this line will automatically move to this line. Check it out. I'll show you. So right now my cursor is here and I want to move this line here. So I'll do Shift J and it moved that, right? Shift J allows you to jump this line, jump to here. So example, if I do Shift J, if here I do Shift J here, see what happened. Shift J, other line come back. So sometimes if you have multiple line and if you want to combine like that, you can do that also, right? And you can, if you do I for insert and press enter, you can do that like that. I for insert. Now, there are 2 things you may sometime use it. I for insert means wherever your cursor is, you can write. So if you align and your cursor is here, you can write. But sometimes you want to write at the end of the file, end of the line. In that case, you do append. Shift A means your cursor from here straight go to the last line. Check it out. So here, if I go here, I'll say Shift A. Sorry, my mistake. I'm in insert mode. So escape, Shift A. Shift A, I'll go there and say this is addition. I normally type and I can do escape. I always do escape. So I can do up arrow, down arrow like that. I always do escape because I don't like to move my mouse move my keyboard arrow while I'm typing. So I always do escape when I'm typing. Like I want to write something here. So first I'll do Shift A. So it's addition. And then I can say this is addition. And once I'm done, I do escape. So let's review again. So if I want to go to first line, $1. If I want to go to last line, $. If I want to search something, $/today. So you can see it will highlight everything and press N. So it will give you that thing. If you want to show the number, set NU, right? If you want to delete one line, then do DD. And if you want to undo, U. If you want to copy all 3 lines, then go to the first line and say 3 YY. And wherever you want to paste it, you can press P and it will paste it. Right? So we did all those things. Right. Now, let's say I want to substitute something. Like example, instead of A's, like I don't want to write, what happened with this guy? Okay. Yeah. So let's say I want to change E's to R. So I want to write E's to R. So there is E's is written and I want to change to R. So how should I do? So there is a beautiful thing called substitute. So you %, %, S stands for substitute, S stands for substitute, / is what you have. So %S is what you have. Then / R, what you want. If you write this, it will replace only 1. But if you say / G, then globally means everywhere. So let's repeat again. Substitute, wherever is there, you're going to write R. If you write G, means everywhere, all places, globally. And if you don't write G, then only one place it will change. So right now I'm going to do G and all highlighted E's will be R. Did you notice that? And if you made a mistake, you do U, undo, so you can get that. Let's do one more time. %, substitute, S, what you have, is, what you want, R. Do you want globally? Yes, G, and it's done. Make sense? And if you want to comment save, if you just want to save W, if you want to save and come out, write and quit. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So let me go back to my forum. If you so not forum, our what do you call PowerPoint, because this will help you. Yeah. So in our PowerPoint, I kind of give this command, but only 10 plus command you need to know this one, and you can perform this. If you know this thing, you can do almost anything, and that's what I kind of spend time. You can see everything you now know. VI, file name, lowercase I for insert, escape, and command mode. You see these three modes you have. X for deleting one character, DD means deleting line. If you do 2DD, then you delete multiple lines. And if you do 3YY means you copy 3 lines, and P means paste, U means undo. We did that. And if you want to do 4, if you do :4, then you will go to 4th line. If you do $, you go to the last line. And write and quit. And Q means this. And if you just do W, means it will write it. And substitute part, which we talk about, %S, find what you have, replace what you want, and G means globally. And if you do search, it will start from top. And if you do question and then write, it will start from bottom. If anytime you're making change which you don't want to save, just do :Q, exclamation, it will forcefully come out. If you can understand that, you can do any kind of thing in your VI, and then there is an exercise which you guys can do. Make sense?
Yeah.
So now you're VI Pro. I know we are almost on time. So I just want to make sure you practice that, because in a Google class, as you noticed that last week, we have homework. right? But this week you will have homework coming to your way in few minutes. Homework is pretty easy. You go through that, go through video, and you do the forum. So you have access. I know, Surya, you create a request, I'll approve your request. Watch that homework. It won't take more than 10 minutes, but this is the homework you have. So it will give you idea how to play around. Again, it's always good idea to learn it and perform it. So when you do it yourself, you will learn more. Okay. So now we'll stop here.